Hey everybody, DayTraderRockStar here with another Friday session. Last night we put out an early edition of the HPS watch list. We have some great best bets on there. I'll kind of review those. And we're in the process of doing our open house week. So a lot of the stuff we're sending out is free to the public, and so you get to see that watch list and how we did it yesterday. A few of the stocks on the list. CMG is actually my best bet of the day, believe it or not. CMG, Chipotle Mexican Grill. We have Brinker, Under Armour looking really good. AZO, SEE, Sealed Air, all on the watch list, so we'll be watching those. And I'd like, Fridays is when I'm off the mic. Paul's on the mic now, doing the show, so I tend to concentrate a little bit more on the futures. I'm able to, really take my time and break down some things for you. So we're going to actually, today's video is we're going to try to cover some of the futures trades today. I'm trying to walk you through this market like a walkthrough. If I see an HPS setup, I'll explain it. We'll take the trade off of it, and we'll just let it go from there. Right now, I got this started, but at 8:30, I was going to point out our first divergence that set up. It was a nice, perfect divergence. It was a higher high, a lower high on the stochastics, and the pullback here was nice. So nice little early morning divergence, starting things off. I am also holding SPY calls from yesterday. So I want to bring those up on the screen here. And this is what we're looking at. We had the jobs report out. It came out really, really nice. Markets are trading higher pre-market. I'm going to switch over to the June contract. I think most people are using that, so let me get that going. The futures are up 10 points. 10 points. But I have my options that expire next week. So we're going to put those up on the screen here also. Oh, let's put the SPY. They're SPY. They're for the SPY. SPY.
68, J-Dub, Rector, and GG.
All right, so here we are. Everything's ready to go. We picked these up yesterday at $5.15. The 237 call is going out to March 17th. So that's what we have up on the screen. Watch how those open up. We're probably getting a nice little gain on those. So congratulations to your call if you want to hold those over or take profits early this morning. I want to see how much we get and make a decision here pretty fast this morning. So we'll leave that up there. Let me get the other contract up. If we're going to do futures trading, we might as well do it on the June contract. Let me see if I can bring that up here fast. Indicators. Here we go. You can see the same divergence right here. I'll jump back and forth. Here we go. We're open now. I didn't even play the music.
Apple here with a nice gap up. There's Google with a nice gap up. Of course, it can be expected. Market is up about 17, 18, 20 points or so. Yes.
All right, there we go. Little chopping action here. There we go. All right. All right, $1.70. I think that's a nice little gain there. Ah, come on. What are you doing here? Mm. 65. $2.37. All right, just sent out that trade. We just covered, well, just took it off here. So just took off my options here, 170. $1.70 got in yesterday at $1.15. So a nice 55-cent gain. Basically a 50% return on that. 45 to 50% return. Not bad. So let's go back out here. I got a lot of stuff to do here. A lot of stuff going on here. So we just took that off. And again, just to take a look at one more time what we just did here. We ended up taking this these SPY calls from yesterday. We got the gap up. We just sold into the gap up, not leaving anything to out of our hands. We're just taking the money and running here. 50, about 50% on our money. Can't beat that. So market here pulling back a little. We're going to also concentrate on the futures here. And we're already 7 minutes into this video. I want to try to keep it short and precise. I don't want to give you too much dead air on this. I am seeing a lot of stocks here moving around. So I'm just trying to get my my bearings right now on some of my best bets. The CMG here. See what's going on here. Holding the 411. Now let's go back here. Let's take a look at the S&P here. We're going to keep the SPY because that's just tracking the S&P right now. We got in down here. We had a 5-minute oversold level. We had a reversal candle. We had a 60-minute setup. We had everything here pointing for a nice move up on our SPY calls. That's why we got in. We got in. What do we get in on those? 115. $1.15. And that was around 10, 11 o'clock, it looks like. So right back here. And I wasn't too concerned with it. I was looking at going out a little on this. So here's $1.15. And then we sold it here, right up here at around $1.70. And if you look back here, it's a 44% return on our money. 44%. And that is a wonderful thing. Of course, if we didn't get a good jobs report, there's always a gamble. There's always two sides of the story. But this is, this was more of a technical setup here with the 60-minute time frame starting to turn back up. And this is what we're looking for today. A big pop out of the 60, a rotation back up. We got some good stocks on board, so everything should be clean and smooth sailing today. Joe here, coffee ETF pushing higher. NIB here up 58 cents. Finally popping NIB. Finally popping here for us. Long and strong this one too. This is a nice gap up here. Yeah, this is looking good. We're going to have that divergence playing out here also. So, you know, this is a tough bottom call to make on a big ETF like this. Cocoa ETF hasn't. I think this is like all-time lows. So when we step in here and make a bottom call on this, see that nice gap up today, looking pretty good. Now, there goes Under Armour. First thing out of the gate here, showing good relative strength. Now we're in that. We're in the UA. We have 19 calls, 10 of them. 10 of them. And the reason we have those is take a look here. Oversold on a daily. Like that. We're on that lower trend. Well, actually, let's bring up that 60 here. 60 looks good. Everything looks okay. Starting to turn back up. The same thing with the Brinker. The Brinker was the one on the lower trend line here, which we're looking for a follow through. So Under Armour, AAA. We got options on this. Let's put the underlying options on there. Going out to next week, right? Yeah, next week, the 17th. And we also have 300 at 1919, so 300 shares also. No volume yet on the Under Armour options, but let's take a look at the AZO. We have some stocks on our list today that I want to take an early look at. Now, the AZO AutoZone, lower trend line bounce zone, I like that a lot. Remember, a sphere of influence, our target zone, you know, oversold, eventually makes the move up, oversold, eventually makes the move up, oversold, eventually makes the move up, oversold. Now, we could shop around for a few days here. But it looks like a nice divergence starting to turn back up. 5-minute chart looks pretty good. Not much going on right now for Friday. So no position yet on that. Let's take a look at the COP. Started off a little higher, not in it, but again, oil and gas, possible divergence on this one. Not in this one. Probably will not get in that one. The PRGO, that is another lower trend line and a little bit more interest, a little more riskier. It's stock rot. The last 2 years it's been grinding down. But we definitely have a lower trend line, stochastic rotation here, and you can actually see it starting to bounce. So I actually like this one a lot. And we'll look at the PRGO on the options here also. ABBV with an upgrade today. Conviction buy list added to Goldman. PRGO here looking at holding that 20-period moving average, 670.68. I'm liking that. PRGO. And then the SEE. Beautiful. This is a lower trend line. Bounce. Remember the rising trend line. Triple rising trend line here. Triple tag. Tagged it once, twice. Of course, the third time confirms that line. Oversold. Nothing wrong with these at all. Any one of them. All right, so we're right at the 950 reversal zone, and we've already started to got a bounce off the 950. It's an important time frame during our trading zones. Really, where I start to look at the market to, it start to get interesting. We leave that first 20 minutes going out there, hanging out, knowing there's going to be a little bit more volatility. But now that the 950 is here, we take a little closer look, see what's showing relative strength and weakness. And in this case, the NIB again still looks really good. The NIB, Under Armour continues to push higher. Brinker not doing much. Restaurant stocks not doing much. But we have a nice bounce here. S&P bounce is good. The NASDAQ tradeometer nailed this. And the market here rotating back up here real fast. Looking really good. Futures trader just took a nice $230 off the Under Armour. So just kind of keeping that. And the CMG here back into 410, but I like this one. I think we're just going to... I think the watch list this week, and even though I put it out yesterday, I think it's golden. I think every setup on here is golden. We didn't mention too much about the NIB, so the NIB here, 2387, continues to look really good. I have a pretty decent position on this. I'm underwater on it right now, but I still like it. I have $26 even. It's approaching 24. Now, nice follow through on the PSX. I like this one. If any of the oil and gas stocks I like, the PSX here probably ranking number 1. HP probably ranking number 2, and then Occidental Petroleum ranking number 3. Under Armour here, just impressive. And here comes EAT. I said, don't let this one sneak away on you. Breaker here pushing back up. VFC pushing back up. I'm going to take a look at the tradeometer here. It's just a fantastic move on the on the NQs. Not much else happening anywhere else. You see the yes, no signal. The NQ has been tagging the bottoms and the tops of some small moves. Big move right there on the NQ. All right, we just started a new position in Perego, PRGO. This is off the watch list. It's one of the ones I like here. A nice base, starting to turn back up on the 15-minute chart. 60-minute chart's kind of embedded, but I'm liking the Dixie here. I'm liking the daily, the daily setup here. Just a lower trend line bounce. We have a gap up here. We'll see if we can actually get a retracement back up. It's oversold on the daily. I didn't look too deep into what the issues are with this because there is kind of an issue that's been going down for the last 2 years. Take a look at the weekly chart. And, it's not the best looking chart. I'm looking for a bounce off this lower trend line. We'll see where we're going. We're starting to get a little bounce now. So I had an alert to alert me if we got a break above that 70.85. That's what got me into this. I want to see if we can actually just get some momentum here going. PSX here still looking good, and like I said, not my favorite, but I'll see how far we get with it. And again, the other stocks that we're focused on, and this is kind of a secondary video for the HPS watch list. We're just doing a follow-up. I am seeing new highs on the day on Joe, FireEye, PSX we just mentioned. The ones on the list here, the AZO. That's on the 5-minute. The 5-minute actually looks okay. Here's that daily. I guess over time, again, looking for a nice bounce. Haven't pulled the trigger on this one yet. AZO. ConocoPhillips, COP. Probably won't pull the trigger on this one. HP. A little bit better getting that bounce, but not ready. And the C, this one actually already got a nice gap up here. This is one of the nicer trend line bounces, oversold trend line bounces. I know Maximilian was also looking at that one. RDS, Royal Dutch Shell, A shares, B shares. What a nice divergence and a nice follow through on that. Nice gap up on that today. CMG, let's take a closer look. Hasn't popped yet. We're right on that lower trend line. We're just starting. I still say this day is long from over for this one. I think we can actually get back up here. We're holding right on the 200 period moving average. Just got oversold on the 5-minute hourly here. It looks a little weak though. And the JBHT, like this one a lot down here. Like it on the daily. The nice little pullback. It's just holding near the recent lows. The infrastructure package that's eventually going to come up is going to be definitely beneficial to this stock and many other stocks in this sector. But I like that pullback. I like that we pulled back quickly on the daily. Didn't really give up much. Hourly. Also a divergence on the hourly. So everything here looks perfect on JBHT, especially on that hourly. Come on, let's do this now. Now there's an interesting one right here. We have a little trend line here. I want to just drag this down here. We have a potential channel line here developing. We held that 200 period moving average. Could get a little pop on here. Remember, we talked about watching this rotation now. This rotated down a little bit further, having to catch a little bounce on that, but nothing, no big change of direction yet, no other signals. The signals have just been showing up on the NQs today, and we're waiting for that next signal.
And I think what Johnny had mentioned, Johnny's always trying to help, and he mentioned, that maybe I was taking too many pre-market trades, and it is true that this week I have been trying to get some trades in before the market even opens. A lot of those, because I've been here like 4 o'clock.
PRG here still pushing higher, and again, just to kind of keep us updated on here, 38 minutes into this video, I don't want to make it too long. Looks like our PRGO here is just perfect entry today. Perfect. I want to take one more look at that. I like that JBHT, no position yet on that, but PRGO, we do have a position in this, and it's actually starting to turn back. Get embedded on the hourly. The daily here just starting to maybe coil back up off of that trend line. I like that. The weekly is, could go either way. But I think that daily here, we're making some money on this now. Starting to move up. Look at this thing. Did we cause that? Well, how do you like that? Nice bounce. We didn't have that. I was waiting for that alert to come in, and we bounced a little bit before. We did have the alert on the ES and on the YM. So go figure, Sometimes you wait for that perfect alert, and it just squeezes by. So you can see the ES came in with its first alert today, and look at that nice bounce. The NQs have been perfect, and the YM here, perfect bounce, perfect buy signal right there. So everything here worked out good on that latest round of alerts coming out of the tradeometer, but I did not. I was waiting to see if I get on this NQ trade, but we didn't have the alert, so go figure on that. There is something out there, and again, this will be a follow-up. I'm following some news right now, and my overall, feeling for the market here. So we have ways to go upside, but there is a couple things that could stop us. A geopolitical event is always, something that could hit us. Now, the terrorist, ISIS, we've been there, done that. So that doesn't come into play. It's not like a black swan event. But we still have... Hey,
Johnny, you able to watch how this Tom is actually catching these points almost exactly?
Yeah. I am. I am, Paul. I don't know if you heard that. Paul just asked me if I'm watching the Tom. Let me turn that down here. So we talked about that. And then North Korea here is an issue. I think we're going to have to deal with North Korea this year. I think it's not going to be an easy situation. You know, we might put a ship out there. It's going to have to do with China's getting involved. South Korea's changing their president. There is some geopolitical things that are going on here. And we are at a weekend. So who knows what's going to develop over the weekend. Could be risky. We already took our SPY calls off for a nice profit, another 50% profit on that. Look at that PRGO starting to push back up. The Phillips 66 is actually looking pretty good. It might even consider taking some oil trades here based off of any type of geopolitical event. Sometimes oil kind of lifts into that. The PSX here is something I do like here, the PSX. So that's starting to move back up. Nice downward wedge pattern. But listen to this. This is the satellites here picking up another possible missile launch here. I want to share this with you. I think this could be an issue.
Hours or so, and they are seeing activity, as we have seen in the past, at a site in North Korea where testing has occurred, a sign, in their words, that Pyongyang could conduct a new nuclear test at short notice. The regime of Kim Jong-un has detonated 2 devices last year. There were 3 prior to that, each increasing in capability, each also working at building up the storehouse of nuclear material. The regime is now capable of building something like 25 bombs, according to experts. This is the testing, as you noted, of missiles continues, that aimed at carrying a nuclear warhead. In addition to the ones that were launched this week, there were a dozen ballistic missiles last year. Missiles getting closer to hitting the United States. All of this activity, Shannon, banned by the United Nations.
Yeah, well, you know, something's going to happen, right? Something's going to happen. How's it going to play out? We'll keep an eye on that. I want to start focusing on that a little bit more, keeping an eye on the news, and maybe maybe we'll act on it. Well, I'm updating you here. Not much is going on. The market is pretty much going into a flat consolidation here on this Friday. The last alerts we had were these 2 sell-side signals here, and was waiting for something. Nothing's really showed up here over the last couple hours now. It's going on to 12 o'clock. And, the stocks other than the PSX here, nice reversal. That has to be looked at for next week, and everything else that we put out next week. I'm not seeing much. Or on yesterday's video, I'm not seeing anything changing or jumping up to the top of the list. CMG did not perform today. I thought it would get a bigger pop on this. Still very bullish on it. Under Armour hanging in there, up 33 cents. Nice move on Under Armour. The Brinker had started moving up, then pulled back. It's back in negative territory, but still in good shape. And that's about it for now. So I want to take a lunch break. Hopefully when I get back from lunch, we'll have a setup here and we can go live and take that NASDAQ trade, because that's what I'm looking at right now. But no alerts right now, and I'm going to take a little break here. So we'll be right back. All right, well, I just got back into the office here. Took a little lunch. It's 1 o'clock. Market has continued to sell off here, and it seems like around 12:30 right here we did have a little trigger here on the trade arm. I was not here for that. And even though I was waiting for it, I would have almost said guaranteed that it would have actually been a fail. I mean, it did give us a little consolidation here. Once you start to see the entry and a little consolidation, but it doesn't work out, especially with an embedded stochastic, you start to think it wasn't a pure triple stochastic bear flag. It was actually a little stall, little signal, and then a failure. So that's where we are right now on the NQ. Excuse me. PGR, and again, I'll kind of wrap this up so I can start sending this stuff out and compressing it and stuff. It is 102. So overall, the market here pulled back all the way to the lows of the session, still in positive territory. I just want to take a look at the cash chart and some other other setups here. All right. Well, so you had that nice gap up, and everything started to turn back up. I still think this is fine. You know, a little shake. You know, Friday's getting boring anyway. Not many traders are going to be trading this, but you could see. Let me get rid of some of these arrows. That was a pretty decent candle yesterday. All these were, I put these candles out here for yesterday. Anyway, you got a gap up. We got a close of the gap. Things are still looking okay. The daily here pointed out the hourly, maybe a little failure here. But overall, we had that gap up. I mean, that was the big thing. And we're just about ready to kind of come back into that gap. We pretty much touched it. You know, this is kind of an interesting level here. You know, maybe one more pullback. I would take the next divergence if I did see a divergence. I'm going to hang with you here. Try to take this next trade if we get a decent enough signal. All right. All right. We just had a tradometer set up here, so we're going to take a look at this tradometer setup. It was a NASDAQ setup here. Unless we're starting to really cream down here for some reason. I'm throwing out that, that Korean issue out there. I just feel like there could be something sneaking up on us on this Korean issue. I don't know if it's going to happen over the weekend. Spidey senses, Spidey senses, kind of setting up there. You know, just wondering what's going to happen here. Now, we didn't have a divergence set up here, so I haven't pushed the trigger here. I'd rather see a divergence as my go-to trade. Here was a divergence right here. You could actually see a nice double bottom divergence with a higher low right here. So, you know, it's really about keeping that discipline, you know, that discipline not to just jump in because you want to get in. Here was a nice double bottom divergence. There was a nice double bottom low here going into 11:15, but we had a higher low here on the stochastics, which is a nice divergence. You can see the move from there, and I guarantee that's the type of move you're going to get if you have the patience to wait for these setups. Problem is, we have do I want to get in here? You know, it's probably a good level. We have a tradometer set up. It's not a divergence though, and I'm strictly a divergence trader. But I'm going to give this a shot, I think. 40.
Order filled.
Tough area here. I'm just taking it off the tradometer. So we have there we go. There's our DOM right here. We have a 8 tick. We have an 8 tick. Well, 2 points here on the NQs. Not much. Actually, I want to probably extend that too. I want to make this a little bit different because I'm running a strategy I normally run on the ES. And I didn't adjust that just for the NQ, and you know the amount of movement you see in that versus the ES. Right down here, you actually have a displays the profit and loss, so I can actually tell what my profit and loss is right down here. So you know it's like, all right, $20 bill on the ground. You picked up that $20 bill, you get a little pop here, a little bit further, you know, $30 down. We closed it out, $30. $50 would probably take us out at, well, $25 now. Now your cash is disappearing. But, you know, what I like to say is, you know, we know this is actually a divergence now setting up. It's actually a divergence. It's not a textbook divergence that I have in my textbook, but it is a divergence. So we have a little upside here, possible. 72 would bring us up, you know, would take me out. We already had $30 in our pocket. Now we have $20 in our pocket. And it's really about that, you know. It's just taking the right setups. Now, this one's probably worth holding on to because it is a tradometer setup. And it is a divergence, a mathematical divergence. So I would say 72 is probably not a hard target to achieve here at this point.
Target filled.
There we go. So that was $30. I mean, I should have. You know what? I have to change my strategy on this. But you know what? I would do that 10 times a day. I want to do that 10 times a day. Just that wasn't that hard to get at that level, 72. Off of this type of, that's one contract, $30. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it's definitely not a stressful situation for me. Plus, other things are always working in the background. We're just kind of shuffling around. This is our ammo. This is our holster, and these are the different weapons we have to take on this market. Now, we got out here, and all of a sudden the market is reversing hard down. So it's just, you take what you get. A $30 bill is a $30 bill. $20 bill is a $20 bill. Pick those up every single day. Why don't you do it in the market? Give you the opportunities. We're going to say, we're going to send you down an alleyway. It's probably going to be a lot of $20 bills down this alleyway. Are you going to, keep on looking for that 50 and pass all those 20s up? Or are you going to take the 20s and eventually they're going to add up? You know where I'm getting at, right? Watch this setup, by the way. And this is on the NQs, so a little bit different on the NQs. I like this. I still like this setup here for a pop. We'll be right back. I'm moving my contracts up to 2 on the NQ, keeping the target the same and seeing how it works out. Just want to see if we could double up. Here again, that 72 was key for us. We got out at that the last time. It's right underneath the 20-period moving average. So I'm working on some things here. And again, like I said, I'll be right back with the next setup. This is all based off of this setup right here. If we go over to the tradeometer, you can see that the NQ gave us that setup right here. That's what we traded off of. So this was our shorts. This is the one that probably would have broken down. We probably didn't get much on that. And that was a little breakdown. But I think we're going to be back right into, kind of right back into the groove here. Should play some Groove is in the Heart. Check this thing out going here. Let me mark this down. Remember, tradeometer alerts are marked in blue. And on the NASDAQ, this is where this one came in. It actually came right in on the bottom. Now we're starting to get that bounce off. We haven't rotated back up on the fast yet, which is really nice. 14.3 is still taking its old sweet time, and you've already gotten 4 points on this. I got 2. We got 4. I'm going to jump on here also to kind of point out on your dashboard right now. If you take a look at your dashboard, I just had this big gong, and it's a 5-minute buy signal. So normally we put that 5-minute buy signal in yellow. We have a 3-minute, 5-minute, 1-minute that shows up on our dashboard. This is a 5-minute. It's the strongest of them, or the biggest one, biggest time frame of them. Usually it comes after the market starts to rotate because, of course, the first 1 minute is going to be the fastest, and the 3 minutes and the 5 minutes. This is a 5-minute one. I put a lot behind it, especially if it's within a couple candles of the tradeometer setup. This one might be a little farther away from the tradeometer. We still like it, though. Any type of 5-minute setup here, you refer back to the... Yes, we do. We refer back to that 5-minute cash chart. You can see we're starting to chop around here. So it's a mathematical divergence. We always have to make a point of saying, let's go confirm this. See if we actually see a visual divergence, a higher low versus a lower low. Here we can see a flat line, and you probably have a divergence here. It's just that you cannot visibly, excuse me, visually see it. Well, we're going into the last hour of the trade now. I'm just checking back with you. CMG making its way back up towards that 410 level. EAT, Under Armour just drifting here. The PRG looking good. The PSX looking very good. And the tradeometer. Just take a look at the last signal here. The last ES signal was just dead on the top. NQ signals got a little flat here, but you can see that they're hanging in there. I mean, they got a little consolidation, which you could pretty much time, saying if it's not pulling back aggressively, be careful. The same thing here. And, we're getting a little pullback right now on that. And the YM, looking pretty good. I mean, overall looking pretty good on that. Market here at 53.83 on the NASDAQ. It was following the NASDAQ today, but let's take a look at the, this is actually still the June contract. I need to switch over. I'll switch over by Monday. I actually switched over, so let me bring it over. But that's what the, that's what everything's looking like right now. And I think it's setting up for a nice week next week. Just a nice tradable week. Things have settled in here. CMG, I still think that it's going to rocket soon. We're good positions on Under Armour, Brinker, PRGO. Let me see if we could see what we can get up here. Let's see if we have the ES. No, do I? Yes, I do. That would be the June contract. Oh no, yes, the June. There it is. It's right there. It's up there. I think I had the March contract up. All right, so that's about it. Nothing else changing. CMG still going into next week as the best bet. The PRGO looks good. The other stocks there continue to stay on the watch list. I'll put up some charts over the weekend. You can look for those on the HPS site. You can see the S&P 500 right now. Just one last look here before we close it up. The daily starting to move back up. It looks good. I think we have follow through on this. No reason not to see it unless there's some kind of news out there. And no hourly was a textbook divergence yesterday. We had a running divergence. We'll look for that pop up. We'll pull back a little. Decent reversal candle, trying to turn back up. Again, geopolitical news out there, maybe building in the future. I'd be watching that as something to look for a pullback into. But other than that, stay true to the tradeometer. It's working great. Everything else looking pretty good. I'll see you on Monday. I hope you enjoy this video. I am also going to start doing some podcasts. It's on Podbean right now. I'll put a bigger announcement on that. But it's also, a lot of that is just the the audio portions of some of these videos. But I have some old stuff that I want to try to post on that if I can dig it out and get it up there. All right. Have a great weekend, everyone, and we'll see you Monday.